There are many things about being in London that make me feel very happy, but also just a few things that make me feel quite grumpy. So, you know those big red double deck buses you see in movies about London? Yeah, these ones right here. I love these buses. They make me feel so happy. The three things I love about them: they are frequent, they are affordable, and they offer great views of the city. In America, I might have to wait like an hour for a bus, if there even is a bus. But on the popular routes in London, they come every few minutes. And the buses in London have fare capping. Once I hit that cap and there is no further charge for riding the bus, as silly as it sounds, I am happy to get into the front seat of the upper level and just randomly ride around the city with no destination. I don't know where I'm going, but I don't care. And the reason this makes me happy is because there is so much activity to see in just about every London neighborhood that can't be seen from the underground. Yes, it's usually faster to take the underground, but it's underground, and there's nothing to see down there, which is why I like the buses better. And what is this? Is it an Uber car? Is it an Uber plane? No, it's an Uber boat. And just like the London buses, I could spend all day riding the Uber boat and seeing the sights along the River Thames, like the city skyline, Tower Bridge, and the Parliament building along with Big Ben. Another great way to take in the views of the city is on the London Eye. It's so touristy and the wait in the queue can be long, I know, but it still makes me happy because there is so much to see of the city and the river from up there. And if that's not good enough, at the top of this building here, the Shard building, there are equally spectacular views over London that make me feel just as happy. When I was a child, I always wanted to eat baked beans for breakfast like a British person, and there's perhaps no better place to do that than in London. It makes me so happy to start my day off with a good English breakfast, and not just the baked beans, but everything else that goes along with an English breakfast as well. But one thing that some British people eat with bread for breakfast that I just don't understand is right here, this jar of pure evil called Marmite. Marmite looks and tastes like motor oil, at least that's what I think. And when I tried it, the repulsive taste lingered in my mouth for what seemed like the rest of the day, and that made me feel grumpy. Visiting London's vast array of museums makes me very happy. I'll quickly mention just a few of them, beginning with the British Museum, a fantastic place to learn about ancient cultures. And the other thing that makes me happy about this museum, it's free. Just book in advance and there is no entry fee. The Natural History Museum is also free. It's got everything from giant whale bones to some very scary-looking dinosaurs. Next door to this museum, I love checking out the wide collection of artifacts from all over the world at the Victoria and Albert Museum. One of the most expensive restaurants in the US is called Victoria and Albert's, and since we had a snack in the museum cafeteria here, we can now say that we ate at Victoria and Albert's. As a former physics teacher, my favorite museum in London, if you want to call it a museum, is the Royal Observatory. It's where the prime meridian line was determined, and I get a little thrilled being able to straddle both hemispheres at the same time. And the views of London are great from here too. Emily's favorite museum in London is probably the Florence Nightingale Museum. Emily is a former nurse, so it makes her happy to learn about how the modern nursing profession came to be. And what makes Emily even happier in London is going on a Beatles tour. Emily has always loved the Beatles, and taking this tour was one of her favorite experiences in London. But the Beatles isn't something that interested me so much, so I opted not to go on this tour. There just happened to be a free concert at a church at the same time as the tour, so I went to this concert instead. One of the things that we have learned from our extensive travels is that it's okay to have individual experiences every now and then. We don't always have to do everything together all the time. We have met a lot of British expats living in other countries all over the world, and when we ask them what they miss the most about the UK, the most popular answer seems to be Sunday roast. And for us too, having Sunday roast is one of the happiest things we enjoy about being in London. What's not to like about feasting on traditional British food in a traditional London pub? Well, I guess one thing not to like about Sunday roast is paying for it. This meal for two I've been showing you here cost us the equivalent of 52 US dollars, which may actually be cheap by London standards. In fact, almost everything in London is expensive. It's one of the most expensive cities in the world. I have a whole separate video on money-saving tips that we think help stretch those pounds in London. I'll put a link to it during the final few seconds at the end of this video. But yeah, the high prices here is one of the few things about London that makes me feel grumpy. Did you know that London is one of the cloudiest cities on this great planet of ours? But not during our visit. Look at these beautiful blue skies. Yes. It makes me very happy to be in London during those rare moments when the weather is perfect. And guess what language the people speak in London? English! It's been about 2 years since we were in a country where the predominant language is English, and being here in London and not having to rely on the sometimes inaccurate Google Translate. We also had, I think, the quietest night's sleep in at least 2 years, staying in a very quiet London neighborhood with a very quiet and friendly host who rents out the upstairs bedroom of her house. Emily and I have been wanting to see Big Ben for the past about a bazillion years, and then we came to London and actually saw it in real life, and the Parliament building, and the outside of Westminster Abbey Cathedral, the inside of Westminster Abbey Cathedral, the outside of Buckingham Palace, the magnificent Trafalgar Square, the beautiful artwork exhibits in architecture at the Painted Hall, St. Paul's Cathedral, the Shakespeare Globe, the Tower of London, and Tower Bridge. And flying into London also made me feel very happy, mainly because we paid only €16 for our flight on EasyJet to London from Tunisia. I think that's the cheapest flight we have ever taken, even though we were coming from far away. Being able to stay at a nice hotel within walking distance at Luton Airport for under $100 when we arrived late at night made me happy too. However, getting to London from the airport was not a pleasant experience for us. Nope. First, we had to wait a long time in the queue to get on the airport bus, and then we got into a traffic jam. I think the next time we'll take the train. It costs more, but hey, at least there's no worry about getting stuck in traffic. But losing a chunk of our day getting from the airport into London did make me feel grumpy. Normally, seeing graffiti wouldn't make me feel happy, but here in London, we passed through some tunnels where I actually like seeing it. And if you remember our video from Valencia in Spain, I showed you the narrowest house in Europe. Remember? Yeah? Well, here in London, we saw the thinnest house in Europe. It looks like you would run into the back wall almost as soon as you enter the front door. And really, one of the things that makes me the most happy about being in London is just walking around the residential areas with no agenda and soaking in everyday life here. And also seeing Londoners relaxing and strolling through the parks around the city. It made me happy to get pictures and videos posing in one of the red phone booths, along with 21 million other tourists doing the same thing. Eating bangers and mash makes me happy too. It's basically sausage with potatoes and gravy, and oh so delicious. Department stores, part of the culture here in London. Unlike department stores in the US, which are becoming exterminated, this particular department store felt more like being in a historical train station, if you ask me. It was fun to see police officers riding horses on the streets of London, as well as guardsmen on horses at different government buildings around the city. This isn't something I've seen too much in many other parts of the world. Trying to visit London during a protest? Yeah, that makes me a little grumpy. And not because I don't support the issues being protested. I don't even know what this particular protest was about, but I don't like protests in general. And from what I'm reading here, protests are a very common occurrence in London. If I lived in London, I think I would quickly get tired of all these protests. I think there should be a protest to protest against there being so many protests in London. That is a protest that would make me feel very happy.